too?
Yeah, we hear you.
Understand means one, یک means one. Roshan, my brother.
English lessons.
یک means one. Yes, like nice.
So few people there. I think a lot of people decided not to come here and just watch it, the YouTube video of our previous presentation. By the way, we need to wait additional, I think, 1 minute or 2 minutes because other participants coming. So we just wait. Alina, hello again. Sorry, I need to reconnect to Zoom. Just a second. No, everything okay. So maybe we can start. Anna, Alina, what do you think about it? Okay, thank you. So, hello everyone. We start our skill camp. Now it's like an official opening of our skill camp for our skill for mobile application development. And before we start, I would like to ask our technical delegate of WorldSkills International and WorldSkills Europe and deputy director of the Union Young Professionals WorldSkills Russia, Alina, to say some words about our skill camp. Alina.
Thank you, Emil. Hello, everyone. You are very welcome to join our skills camp. Just short notice that for us, Future Skills Camp is not just a camp. WorldSkills Russia initiates this international program, which is about Future Skills program, which consists of few stages from joint research and development of new technology and skills profiles for new technology with our industrial partners and with our country partners. Then we run skills competition or future skills camps like this one. And then what is the most important, we develop joint educational programs with industrial partners and with experts for the education program and implement these future skills in educational programs of our institutions across all the country and across global. And through this pandemic situation, it has been a big question for us how we can manage with our further development of our experts, of experts community, of competitors, and of course, how to keep working with educational programs. So we identify that we are able to pilot online programs, and that's great that there is big interest from countries and partners, and we can really understand that we here not just for development of mobile application development skill, but also we are here to develop new model of cooperation of educational trainings, and of course new model of economic and employability. So soon we are sure that it will be more and more jobs we will have for online and digital working place. So especially with mobile application development, we can give this possibility to population and young people in our countries. I would like to say thank you, Mil, that he's leading this program. And what is important for us, of all of us, that mobile application development will be official skill in the competition in Shanghai in 2021. Also, mobile applications development is part of World Skills Asia and our BRICS cooperation. So in November, we will host several competition in mobile application development and hope that in 2021 we will have possibility to see you on venue in Shanghai. So good luck with this training, have a productive training, and looking forward for further cooperation with you and with your countries.
Thank you, Alina, for your words. So we can start. And hello again. And again, welcome to mobile application development. As you see, we're writing MAD, because it's help for fast spelling and writing our name of our skill. So be ready to see a very mad text. So you heard me yesterday. My name is Emil, and I, with my team, will introduce you in our skill of mobile application development. Be sure that our presentation will be recorded, and after our camp, we will send the presentation files. And today, as we do it before in a previous group, we will send you a link to YouTube translation, where you can find the full our video. Before we start, I would like to say that if you have questions or you want to share your experience or something else, please write it to our Zoom or Telegram or Discord chats. So after it, we can prepare our answers and of course give you a full answer for your questions. Of course, we really want to get feedback after our camp, because your feedback, your experience will help us to increase quality of our competition, of our skill. Okay, and if you see that there are some troubles with my voice or video or images, please say it or write me in the chat, because it's important to hear me without some noises and anything. And our little plan for this week, today, for these 2 hours, our plan is introduce our skill, our team, by me. And after my presentation, my colleague Lydia will say something about technologies that we used in our skill. Okay, and for tomorrow and for Thursday, competitors will make some test projects. We will give them a short tasks, and then we will help them to review them, and maybe we can share our experience how this task can execute it. And with experts tomorrow and at Thursday, we will discuss about main things about from our skill. It's WSS and assessment, and then we will use our new knowledge for assess our competitors' project. And in Friday, there will be like a summary meeting when you also can share your experience or give your feedback, and we can change, for example, our current technical description of our skill, because it's very important for us to make it more clear, more useful, for all countries and of course for World Skills International. And after this camp, we really want to plan our next steps, like a next events, like a trainings or next BRICS competition that will be in November that Alina said before. So we have a lot of work, I think, but it will be interesting journey for you by our team. And so, of course, I would like to say some short information about our skill. Mobile application development skill it's about creating application for mobile devices. What is mobile devices? It's like a smartphone, tablets, smartwatches, and little bit strange, but it's also smart TVs. I will explain it later why we use smart TV too. And everyone knows that mobile devices is a very important part of our lives because we can do anything without mobile devices. And every day we use our mobile devices, for example, for write messages, watching videos, work, and maybe playing games and etc. And now mobile devices, it's not just one device, like just your smartphone, like it was before when we used mobile, Windows Mobile or other operating systems. Now our devices is a part of whole ecosystem. For example, if I have an iPhone and Mac, I can copy text on my Mac and paste it in my iPhone without do anything. I just press the copy and paste and it works. Or for example, I can ask something like a weather in my smartwatches, like, hey, what about weather for now? And of course, the smartwatches will connect to my mobile phone, checking information from my internet and come back with the actual information. And you see, it's really one big ecosystem. And because of that, we are using smart TVs too, because in another skills, in the World Skills International, no one skills used smart television. So what about types of mobile applications? Applications are an integral part of our daily lives, how I told before. The marketplace is crowded with all type of mobile applications. And maybe if you can open Google Play or App Store from Apple, you can see that we have thousands of any applications. And today, every business wants to create our own application for some business solutions or some entertainment and etc. And here in the slide, we see that we have different types of mobile applications. For example, lifestyle mobile apps, it's like fitness apps, music app, or anything that we used for make our lives interesting and maybe easy, like a travel apps too. Social apps, of course, we use it for every day, maybe. So we used like applications like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, WhatsApp, and etc. Another type is utility apps. It's about applications like a calculator, flashlight, or another types of applications that helps to solve one little or big problem. It's like a dark room. We can turn on our flashlight on our mobile phone and everything will be okay. We can see the games, entertainment apps. Of course, it's important path of our information technology industry because many of people every day playing some games, children playing games and other. So, and many current services create new directions like a Apple Arcade, where we can just download only game applications, for example. Of course, we have a productivity apps. It's about the things that we can use for working, for example, like Office application for use for creating documents or sheets and other things. The big part of mobile applications is financial apps, because, for example, every bank in our country, in Russia, has a mobile application. I don't know banks that don't have these applications. They can't live in current industry, and of course, in the near future, they will create own application. Maybe they don't have enough money for that for now. And the one big thing that we want to add to promote with our skill is applications for people with disabilities. In my opinion, we need to popularize important direction of software development like these applications, because our mobile devices like smartphones, smartwatches can help people in different situations and people with different disabilities. For example, you can imagine if in your left hand and in your right hand you have a fitness bracelet, and with some software we can show you direction with the vibration of this bracelet. Like if your right hand starting to vibrate, you will turn right, for example. Yeah. If both hands starting to vibrate, so you need to stop. And it's just the example, but it's cheap technology that help people, for example, who can't see normally, who are blind or have another disabilities. So these people can be navigated by software, and I think it's very good. And we can create many examples of it. And of course, in this camp, I would to discuss with you about this direction of our skill. I hope it will be useful for all the world if our competitors of our community can create new solutions for people with some disabilities. And of course, I want to introduce some history of skill. You should know about it. From 2016, I start to think about that there are no skills in the World Skills International about mobile application development. I agree that a few skills in WSA use the mobile platforms, but they don't use the power of mobile devices. For example, as I know, skill like IT software solutions for business started creating mobile applications. And for example, web design and technology skill creates adaptive websites for mobile, but these skills don't use all power of our mobile devices. And because I'm software engineer, I tried to use my experience of mobile development. And I start to prepare a new skill for World Skills, because we need to grow up industry of mobile application development, first of all in Russia, and of course in the whole world. So from a beginning, we started using actual technologies like using remote services like with API, and we start creating custom views of our applications. We will show you it. We will say about it later. And we did it because we know that the development market from the inside. So we are programists, we are engineers, and we know how we can create mobile apps, and we know what our customers want to see from companies, from business. And our team now consists of professionals who also develop mobile applications. I will introduce them a little bit later. And our skill has several differences from other skills and work skills. For example, first one is we don't have any mono-branding things. We can use Mac computers, PCs. We can use many applications like integrated development environments like Android Studio or IntelliJ IDEA or Xcode or AppCode and etc. So, and we open for all. And the main difference is that in the head of our skill is the professionals from an industry, from a market. And you can see the short history of our Magnetometer events. They are not all events, but the main, how I think. With our team, we start mobile application from Russian competition named Digital Skills as a future skills block. I think some of us heard about Digital Skills that we started in a Russian new city named Innopolis. It's like, you know, it's like a little Silicon Valley from USA. And this competition was about only digital things and digital skills, for example, quantum technologies, Industry 4.0, and virtual reality, and etc. And after this competition, our skill starts to taking off with our skill. Many regions in Russia start to support us, and in 2018, our skill was in national competition in Russia. It's the first big competition for us. The next big step for us, of course, was World Skills Kazan 2019. First of all, I would like to say a big thank for teams that they came, like China, Iran, Kazakhstan, who decided to participate in our skill, despite that, in fact, that they had no experience on it. And I would say that the Kazan 19 was give us great experience for making new skill, for making strategy of skill, and it was interesting and cool, I think. And you can see that there was another one competition in 19th. It was a skill development and technology innovation competition in a Foshan city from China. And thank you for China that created additional one competition for a future skills block. And for example, in this competition, Brazil joined to a mobile applications team too. You can see photo from a World Skills Kazan 19. It was a big event for our skill. And of course, we made some mistakes while this competition was, but it's experience for us and for our team. Here you can see a photo from a competition from a Foshan city in China. They made competition for BRICS countries, and in our skill there was 3 countries: China, Brazil, and Russia. Okay, and now I want to show you some numbers about our new skill. I'm really proud of these numbers that I will show you now. About 180 people, students and experts involved to our skill in Russia. And just for now, of course. And every month we increase this number because we are starting to train students and teachers to work with mobile application development. And in Russia, we have a new education standards now for mobile development. And because of that, this number, like 180, will increase twice, I think, for next year in Russia. For now, 80 regions of Russia involved to mobile application development. It's very good result, I think, because many new skills don't have the such type of a fast popularization. And for now, we have a 15, or if I remember right, before 1 hour, we have a 16 countries registered to current skill camp for only our skill. And thank you for this, that you came here and now listen me and trying to see me. And from an inside information, we know that for now, there are 8 registrations to World Skills Shanghai 2021 for official World Skills International. So, and I hope that after our camp, you all go to our World Skills International website and register to our skill too. And we can increase this number twice, and we will make a great competition. I hope so. And I really hope to see you and hear you in World Skills International too, of course. And there are no chances to create international skiing or the big events without of teams, without of team of professionals. So I want to say some short information about our team, about the main persons of our team. First one, it's me. You can see me in the camera now in a photo on a slide. So I'm working as a programmer for 11 years, and now I'm CEO of IT company since 2014 year. And I have really big experience in mobile application development, web technologies, and desktop development. And because of that, I helped to a few skills in Russia to grow up, and my team is trained many teachers from colleges, and we helps them to know more about information technologies. And of course, some words about the story of my story of World Skills. So my story in World Skills was started from the 2014 year as a web design and technologies competitor. And then I was a part of, and now I'm a part of IT software for business skill. And from 2017 year, I developed a new skill, this skill, mobile application development. Here you see Sergey Klimovich. He was with mobile application team from a times of creating our new skill. And he also has a big experience on iOS and Mac OS development. And now he a national expert and in Russia, of course, and leads all competition and everything about mobile application development in Russia. Here you see Lydia Ivanova. You will hear she later. And Lydia also has a experience in a mobile development, and she works now in Tomsk State University and teach students how to develop mobile apps. And now she is a head coach of our national team. And of course, there are many people from our team. We don't have so big time to introduce them all, but I want to say a big thank you for all our team that they're helping to develop our skill, and they helps to growing up our skill in Russia, first of all. And today, as I wrote before, we want to make a group photo, but of course, because we're in a digital format of camp, we can only make a screenshots of our meeting screen, like your previews. And so I would ask to turn on your web cameras, and we need to maybe 1 minute to check you all and make a screenshots of your smiles and faces. And then we will create one big picture with all participants of our skills camp, of course. Oh, how many faces, it's great. So yeah, we just need some time because we need to make many screenshots, because after our camp we will check every face and choose the best picture of you. So my colleagues helped me with this. So we just need to, when they do it. Okay. Fatima, it's okay. We can continue.
Yes, I'm okay.
Oh, another people here. No, we need to take one more screenshot. Someone is walking, showing his home, I think. Oh, very, very great koala. Oh, no, it's not a koala. It's, I don't remember how it's in English, sorry.
Slav.
Yeah. Great. Or another person, so we need to wait. Or another one. Oh, no. Okay, great. So I think it's okay. We will, after our meeting, choose the best pictures of you, of course. You should know that they're not in a good quality, yeah, because we are using our maybe not good web cameras, or we have a bad internet connection. So, but it will be interesting and funny to see all faces of our meeting. Thank you for turning on your cameras, and now I know what people listening me. And I think the next part of our presentation will be about technologies that we used in mobile application development. My colleague Lydia will introduce you to technical side of our skill. But before, I think that we need to make a short break for you. Oh, we need to change the time, sorry. Just a second. Because I think you need to fill up your coffee cups, or, oh, thank you, Lydia. You're very fast. And maybe you need to do something. So at 18:40 by Moscow time, we will continue our presentation. So just prepare your cookies and maybe a cup of tea or coffee. Imagine that you hear light instrumental music, nature voices like birds, or these animals that we saw before in in a video previews from Costa Rica. So we will continue after 6 minutes. We need to prepare something. And while we're waiting, of course, if you have questions, you can write them in the chat or now saying via microphone, so we can answer it, no problem.
Hello, Emil. Do you hear me?
Yeah, you want to check?
Yes, I want to share my screen and prepare to my presentation.
Sure. Yeah, now we can see your screen. It's okay. Great. Thank you for changing time.
It's break time. Good job.
So, as I told before, we now will start the second part of our presentation. I hope that now we have a full coffee cups and cookies and other things. So the next speaker will be Lydia. Now you know her, and she will show slides about the technologies that we used in our skill and some problems that we have in our skill. And after my speech. So Lydia, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe, maybe not.
No, it's not a problem now. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm glad to be here, and today I want to tell you about some question. I want to show you a task example from our World Championship. I want to tell you about instruments which we can use for mobile application development, and recommend some useful libraries and frameworks which you can use in your work or in a competition, for example. Let's start. Some of you have already seen this task. This task is from World Championship Kazan 2019. But for those who see it for the first time, I added on this slide a link to all resources. And if you wish, you can solve this task by yourself. The first information about application. The championship participants need to implement an application for completing quests. What is quest? Quest, it's some set of tasks, and every task, the goal of every task is to find some special key. This key may be some string, or maybe a number, or maybe place in which user should go and connect to server. It should be noted that in World Championship in Kazan, there were no participants who choose the iOS operating system, and therefore layouts are focused on the Android operating system. The target devices for our application were tablets, smartwatches, and smart TVs. And on this slide, we can see the label of our application. We called it Madventure, mobile application developer adventure, and the main screen of tablet mobile application. The first screen of our application was splash screen. What is it? Splash screen usually appears while a mobile game or some program is launching. In iOS operating system, you can implement this screen using custom project settings and special file launch screen.storyboard. This file is pre-created when you create new empty project. For the Android operation system, there are several possible implementations, but the most popular are using the application theme or by creating activities with timer. For example, you can create activity, add some images to it, and set up timer. And after 2 or 3 seconds, your activity will be closed, and user should go to the next activity. After splash screen, we should go to the onboarding tutorial. But if user is not opening the application for the first time, we should skip this screen. On the screen, we have information about the capabilities of our application. We can switch between states with swipe gesture, or when user press on button. For example, if user press on button skip, we should skip these pages and go to the next screen. If user press on button next, we should go to the next page of this onboarding tutorial. How to implement it on our mobile platforms. For example, on iOS, we can use a special user interface component, which named UI scroll view. And for these little dots in the bottom of our screen, we can use a UI page control. But I recommend to use a third-party library. For carousel, it's a set of images which we can swipe, or for onboarding tutorial. In internet, we can find a lot of libraries for these goals. I think using of third-party library may be a better solution, because we can do it faster than with scroll view and page control. But we should check how many times we open our application. to skip this screen, for example. It means that we should store some data about number of app launches. How to do it? I think the best and the simplest way to do it in iOS will be using of user defaults storage. User defaults is a simple key-value storage, and it's very simple and fast to use it to save some data. For example, about number of app launches. On Android, to implement this functionality, we can use view pager with customized tab layout, or maybe just some library. And to save data about application launches, we can use shared preferences. It is the key-value storage like an iOS, and they are very similar. After onboarding tutorial, if we open our application in the first time, we should go to registration screen. And using the registration form as an example, we first come across a very important functionality of mobile application, sending data to the server. I think a lot of mobile applications do something with server. It should send some data, get some data from server. And for this task, we implemented special RESTful API. To implement this screen, this form, we can use such components as UI image view, UI text field, UI button for iOS, and image view, edit text, and button for Android, for example. How to send data to the server? First of all, in our task, we for our competitors, we created API protocol description, and we used a special online service, which is named Swagger Hub. I think this service is very useful, very simple, and maybe beautiful. And we can see all types of requests of our API. We can run it, we can test it, we can get all information about request, parameter, type of answer, type of errors, everything what we want. So in our task is necessary to implement get requests, post requests, put, and delete. How to communicate with server? There are a lot of approaches to implement it. However, I recommend using third-party libraries because of course we can implement it with the class of iOS SDK. It's a URL session, or Android SDK. It's a URL connection. I think it's some kind of standard for mobile application development to use libraries such Llama for iOS or Retrofit for Android in this case. These libraries can significantly save development time. They are very simple and very powerful. Also, Retrofit library solve the issue of parsing data from JSON format to an object. So I recommend to use it because it's very simple and very fast. If our user already opened this application, we should show sign-in screen. And here we have another interesting functionality of mobile application. It's authorization via social networks. In this case, we used Facebook. To implement this functionality, we recommend using the libraries created by the developers of Facebook company. For every, I hope for every social net, we have some library for iOS and Android, and we can download it and use in our application. I think you noticed that our application has a lot of customized UI components. It's very often task of mobile application development. And in this application, in addition to the main interface elements, it was required to customize dialog boxes. This can be done with several ways, such as creating your own view or customizing the appearance of a system component. For example, in iOS, to implement it, we can use UI alert controller, and for Android, we can use fragment dialog, for example, or just create new view and show it when we need it on our screen. The next and the main screen of our application. It's very hard for developing, but very interesting and I hope useful for user. This screen contains a large number of different panels with information, which can be useful for a person who want to solve quests. For example, here we have map panel, user profile panel with information about user, about current status of user, panel with current weather in place of our user, some list of achievements, and list of popular quests and information about current quest and its tasks. And the sidebar menu, of course, as usual in such applications. In this screen, it's necessary to implement a lot of tables with dynamic content. It's very often task for mobile, and in iOS, we can use, for example, UI table view if our table contain only one column, or UI collection view if we have two or more columns. If we use Swift UI, we may use list component. And for Android, we can solve all our problems with tables if we use Recycle View. I recommend it to use Recycle View, not List View, because it's more powerful, maybe a little complex at the start, but if you know how to use it, you can do everything what you want with dynamic tables. A little about the maps. To display geographic maps, we recommend using the built-in libraries with map. For iOS, it's Apple Maps, and for Android, it's Google Maps. When you check the result of competitors, if you are expert, it should be noticed that the functionality of these maps is quite similar. However, their appearance is different. They have a different style, of course. Another interesting functionality in our application, it's a compass. The quest can take place outside the city, so the user may need a compass. To implement this functionality, it is not necessary to use third-party libraries, just the classes from SDK. In iOS, we have CM Motion Manager. On Android, we have Sensor Manager. For both platforms, you need to describe to the event receiving data from managers. And when an event occurs, it's necessary to turn the compass image to the appropriate degree. Simple, but I'm afraid it's not so simple. The next popular task. The task of quest can have video description. It means that our mobile app should be able to play this video. To implement it, we can use third-party library if we want, but our SDKs has special components for video playback. iOS has an AV player and Android has video view. Not only video, our tasks provide prompts and application must be able to play audio. And we have special class for it, or just use some library if you like to use libraries. Our, and not only our, all mobile applications consists of images, a lot of images from different sources, from internet, from memory of device, for example. And in our application, user can change information about himself, including uploading an avatar image to the server. Therefore, it's necessary to implement the getting images from various sources, like gallery or making photo with camera. In iOS, we can use UI image picker controller to implement it. And in Android, we can create new intent with special parameters and ask our photo from Android operation system. But if we have a photo, we should send it to the server. It's not so complex as it may be, as you think. We can use just post request to send image to the server with our API. The list of mobile devices is not limited to smartphones and tablets. Smartwatches also make users' life easier and more mobile. That's why we consider developing a smartwatch app as an important skill for a mobile developer, and in our task is necessary to create application for smartwatches. This little application allows user to sign in system and view the description. Imagine, for example, you just forget some details of description. You just may see it on your watch and go. Therefore, participants should be able to make client-server requests not only in the mobile application but also in the watch application. Operating systems for smartphones and for watches are very similar. However, there are some specifics with user interface elements. The Smart TV application should help the Quest organizer keep track of the current situation. It allows a user to sign in the system and get information about the location of the Quest participants. This slide shows a screen with map. Perhaps this is the most unusual and beautiful screen in this application for Smart TV. I think so. And all other screens are very similar to the screens of a tablet application, which allows us to reuse the previously implemented functionality. As a conclusion, I want to note that the user interface and the customization of elements of user interface was maybe the largest part of this task. Mobile application, first of all, should be convenient and beautiful. Therefore, our task focuses on design. In addition, you should remember that mobile application can use data from a large number of sources that are listed in this slide. For example, from camera, from accelerometer, from database. So we should have access to all of these data sources. And let's tell a little about instruments. I think all tools that participants may need during the competition can be divided into the following groups. And let's start to talk about integrated development environment. This is the application which you use to develop mobile applications. But in order to talk about the main developer tool, you first need to choose approach to development that we will use. Since there are 3 such approaches for developing mobile applications. And here we see native development. What is it? It means that we use for development languages and SDK development special for our platform. For example, for iOS, we have two languages, Objective-C and Swift, and iOS SDK. For Android, we have Java and Kotlin languages and Android SDK. If we talk about web application development, it means that we want to create some web application inside the browser with some instruments of web development, something like JavaScript languages, CSS, Vue.js, React, and other interesting frameworks. And user does not install our application into device. He just go to some URL and open this application. And the last approach is a hybrid development. It means that we use all one platforms. The example of frameworks for this type of development are React Native, Flutter, and Xamarin. But all of these approaches have some problems. For example, development has advantage since to create such application, you do not need to have mobile developer in your company. You can contact any web developer and get new application. However, this approach has a number of significant disadvantages. For example, web application cannot get direct access to the camera, accelerometer, or other important device inside our smartphone. But you saw in previous slides that this functionality is necessary for mobile application. And web application may have some problems with native UI, because in every mobile platform, we have some standards how our user interface elements should look like. We have guides for designers, and we try to use it in our development. But web application, web frameworks don't have such elements, and it's necessary to use some third-party libraries with such components. This slide shows three frameworks for hybrid development. It's the most popular frameworks now, and it's React Native, Flutter, and Xamarin. And you can see that these frameworks have some problems with some specific functionality of our mobile applications. For example, they have problems with smartwatch support and with support of home screen widget. But a lot of mobile applications can have home screen widget. I think it's very useful to get some fast information on the home screen of my device. To implement almost any feature, you need to connect an additional model to your project in a hybrid development, which requires access to the internet. The delay between the release of new version of the operation system and appearance of support of these features in the framework can reach several months. For example, in the end of June, Apple present new features for iOS, new version of iOS, but I don't know when we will support it in hybrid frameworks. And if we add one framework into our skill, we will need to add all of them, but it will significantly complicate the preparation to the competition and setting up the equipment. So I think it's very important question, and we need to think about it. This slide shows the difference in the performance of mobile applications developed using different approaches. And we believe that the main thing of mobile development is user friendliness and equal conditions for all competitors. Therefore, we choose native development in our skill in Russia. And if we use native development, we can recommend you some integrated development environment, some IDE for your development. In iOS, we have two, not only two, but here we have only two programs to implement mobile applications, Xcode and Upcode. But Upcode free, it requires payment. So I recommend to use Xcode. I think it's the best instrument to create iOS or watchOS or tvOS mobile applications. For Android, we have a lot of instruments. For example, Android Studio, IntelliJ IDEA, Eclipse, NetBeans. But we recommend, and Google Corporation recommend, to use Android Studio. In our competition, and in our mobile development in some companies, we usually work a lot with graphics. And for it, I recommended to use Adobe XD. In the World Championship, we used Adobe XD. But now we try to change it to Figma.com service because I think it's more, it's simpler and more useful. And if our competitor want to cut something from image or resize it, for example, I think it is better to use GIMP. This application is free and available for Windows and macOS. In previous slides, you saw that in our task, we have client-server communication, and it's necessary to have some instrument to check it, to test it, to try something. And we recommend to use Postman. This instrument is also free and available for Windows and macOS. Development of mobile application is a teamwork, and in our skill, we ask participants to use a version control system. As such system, we choose a Git because it has a lot of advantages over other systems. The version control system allows us to track the entire history of changes in source code in your project, changes of some resources, for example, and reset some changes or mix your code and code of your teammates. At competitions in Russia, we usually don't use special applications for working with Git, and we recommend our participants to use command line on Windows or, for example, terminal in Mac OS, or special plugins inside Android Studio and Xcode. And for some different content, we Office space, or I work in Mac OS, some archiver utility, and of course browser for Swagger Hub and for Figma.com. Some recommendations about languages. I think you know that both our platforms have two languages for development. How to choose, how to select the correct language. For example, in iOS, we have Objective-C and Swift. And we recommend, and Apple Corporation recommend to use Swift because this language supports new approaches such as functional programming or protocol-oriented programming. This language is fast, it has a simple syntax, and for example, in this slide, you can see image with difference in performance between these two languages. Blue is for Swift and green columns is for Objective-C. And here we have example with some operations with array of data. The same problem we have in Android because we have two languages, Java and Kotlin. Programming languages, and it's very young. It was introduced in 2017 by JetBrains company. If you know, JetBrains is a company that develops the Android Studio tool. And in 2019, Google announced that Android development will be carried out mainly in Kotlin. The source code on the Kotlin also translated into bytecode, and Android Studio allows you to use both languages in the same project. The only limitation, you cannot mix two languages in one file. The main advantage of the Kotlin language is its syntax. It's much simpler than of Java, and many expressions in the Kotlin look much shorter. Besides, Kotlin supports functional programming and has a large number of useful features. And I want to show you a little example. On this slide, I added a simple example. It's just an activity with one button. And when we press on this button, it's necessary to show toast. Toast is a little pop-up on the bottom of the screen of your device. On the left side of the slide, we have code on Java, and on the right side, we have code on Kotlin. And we can see that code on Kotlin is shorter. And if you look carefully on this code, you can see that on Java, we have string button equal find view by ID. In this, we try to get reference to our button, to object of button, to a set on click listener. But on Kotlin, we cannot this line because Kotlin has special library, a special approach, which is called synthetic. It means that it's not necessary to call find view by ID a lot of times. If you already try to implement something for Android on Java, you know that every activity should have a lot of strings, find view by ID for every user interface component on your screen. But on Kotlin, we can just input the name of our user interface component and call operation for it. Code with find view by ID will be automatically generated on the compilation. And at the end of my lecture, I want to recommend some minimal set of libraries which you can use on your life, on your work, and of course on competition for iOS and for Android. It's the most popular libraries for this, for implementing these features. So thank you for your attention. Now Emil will continue presentation. Yes?
Yeah, thank you very much, Lida. And I need to share my screen, just a second. And then I will continue our presentation. So, again. So, Lydia, can you say me it's okay with my slides? someone?
Yes, we see your slide.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you. So thank you again, Lydia. And I want to explain why we told you about some technical things, and we showed you some source codes and libraries and etc. It's important for us to show you that creating custom mobile application, it's not hard as it might seem. And if you see this presentation, you know that in our test project, we are creating for competitors, of course, not a simple user interfaces as Lydia showed before, yeah? Like a main screen of our Quests app. We did it because we think that the developer of mobile applications should know, will know how to make everything with a user interface, and of course use device features like getting navigation, maybe getting information from a camera and etc. And in our camp, we'll talk about these technologies, maybe about the libraries and other things which we used in our skill. And one more thing, it's about, oh, where is it? Just a second. Oh, no, yeah. And one thing about that we used only native development. There are many discuss between the hybrid apps, web apps, but we used only native because the cross-platform development it not in the same situation in other countries in our world. For example, if in our country people can use the Xamarin platform for creating cross-platform apps on C#. So, for example, in China, there are no Xamarin or Microsoft services or other platforms. And it's a problem because in other countries we have another platforms, and if we want to install, for example, Xamarin in our competition, we should install all another platforms for all users, because you know in world skills we must create workspaces, workstations for a competitor with the same configuration for all. So, and it's really a problem because many software in one machine can make some conflicts or collisions while using these platforms. For example, if you install on a computer with Hyper-V technology, for Android Studio, you need to turn off this technology. But for Visual Studio from a Microsoft for using Xamarin, you need to turn on this technology. And there are many examples of these problems. And if we add cross-platform development for our skill, first of all, it will be a really big problem for building infrastructure before competition. And other thing for native development is that like Lydia told before, that the native developers knows actual technologies, can use actual technologies for their application. For example, if we use a Xamarin, we can use so fast features from operating systems like you know, Apple company introduced us in the current month new type of widgets for home screen. So of course, there are no cross-platform development platforms which can add these widgets, for example, for now. So, but the native developers can use it now. And I think it's very good for people that want to be professionals in a market and want to earn many money like a programmer. And of course, if you have questions, you can write them. I see that in the chat we have a question. I will answer them now. And I hope that the slides about the technologies, short information about our skill, it was clear and helpful for you. And for now,
زمان مشخص یعنی چی؟ زمان داده شده.
Oh, Fatima, you are talking. So, and for now, I hope that you have a vision about our skill. Yeah, now you know what is mobile application development. And tomorrow and then Thursday, we will continue to getting more information about the skill like WSS, about assessment, about building and other things. So I think it will be very useful for you, and we really want to help you to start this skill in your countries. And you will keep in mind that tomorrow we will start work on a Discord application. We used Zoom service only for today. So tomorrow we will meet you in a Discord application. First of all, thank you for your attention. And now we are ready for questions. First, from a chat, it's about if you use a Flutter, they can develop and send to app. And so yeah, it's a great example from Milad that if he will use Flutter, for example, of course, he can't create application for smart watches or smart TVs. It's one of the big problem of cross-platform development. So for this skill camp, we don't use smart watches and smart TVs, and you can use Flutter for creating our test project. It's not a problem. But you will keep in mind that in national competitions or in international competition, there can be a test project where you need to create TV application or smartwatch application. So I think you need to start to learn native languages like Kotlin, for example. Yes, Flutter, it's not a bad platform, but it's too light, too weak with this technology that can be used. So I think the native development, it's best choose for growing specialist in information technologies. Milad, I hope that I answered your question. If no, please write me about it and I can do it with another way. So another question is about computer must be sent module, but yeah, it's about how will competitor will send modules for us. So I think I need to say more about next days. For next days, we will send little test projects for competitors. While they're creating them, they can use internet connection, they can use friends, anything. It's not a competition. It's like a training, like a camp, with like some group of friends that trying to discuss about skill. So competitors will try to do our tasks, and while they're doing it, our colleagues will help them. Maybe they will show best practice, or they're answering the questions about technology. So, and questions, and another question about using version control system. Because I think many of you is new in our skill. In current camp, we will not use Git or another version control version control system. We just will send zip files to me, and then we will collect them and use for assessment. So, but if you want to use a version control system, we can give access for GitLab or GitHub for uploading applications, but it's not necessary, I think, for a current camp. And you must know that if you don't want that another country will assess a project of your competitor, you can told us, because we want that only one country can assess test project of his competitor. So, for example, my Russian team can assess this project of Iron team, and of course, me and Lydia and Sergey always be with you. We will go to every team and help to assess and trying to answer your questions. So I hope that I answered to this question. If not, you can told me about it. So another questions? The test project is a project within slides. No, there will be another project, of course, because this project that was in the slides, many countries has already. So it's because it's open, it's published on the web after our competition from a World Skills Kazan. So it will be another task for you. It's like a surprise and on. So next question. So conclusion. If I write, if I understand you, Azim, for creating current test project of current skill camp, you can really choose cross-platform development or using native languages. But of course, everything in this camp, like best practice or some additional lectures that will be about native development. So you will be ready for that. And for example, because it's like a camp, you can try to use a native development. And of course, we will help you. For example, if you have questions, how to create this button or view or custom view, we will really help you. We will connect to you and show some source code or say your right direction of Googling information. So feel free to communicate with others. It's very good that there are in the chat there are so many questions, because in the previous group there was only just one question. It was boring, but I really love questions, so I'm ready for more. Okay. Yes, test project is different, but in this test project, we will use some sensors of device, or we will use source for getting information like your camera on gallery, so you will be ready to use them. We will not use compass or magnetometer or other things for navigation. So just for example, for Android, you just know how to use intents for getting information. thank you again for questions. So, I see that I forgot to show slide. Sorry, because I'm changed my screen. So, I see that there are no more questions yet. But of course, as I told before, if you have questions, you can feel free to ask them directly to our Telegram chat or to to Discord channels. And of course, me and my great team will answer you about everything. So if there are no questions, I would like to say thank you very much for your attention, for your time. And I really hope that we will see each other and you can hear me tomorrow at this time. So bye-bye all. See you and thank you.
Bye to everyone.
He is alive.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, on board.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.